Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown did not practice today due to that sprained ankle he suffered on Thanksgiving. Something to monitor.
The Dallas Cowboys are not just fighting for their season right now. They are rebuilding their identity in real time, rewriting the narrative the NFL has tried to place on them for years, and doing it with a kind of urgency that feels different from anything we have seen in recent memory. What Dallas is doing, what Dallas is building, is not the story of a team clinging to hope. It is the story of a franchise refusing to back down. And today, Cowboy fans, we have major news that changes the tone of everything heading into this Thursday night battle against the Detroit Lions. Because while the rest of the NFL enjoyed a normal Sunday of games, the Dallas Cowboys were grinding, working, and reshaping this roster for war. While other teams were watching scoreboards, Dallas was making real moves, and not depth chart footnotes. Real additions, real reinforcements, real signs that the Cowboys front office believes this team is still very much alive in the postseason race. The first headline came from nowhere. The Cowboys officially designated Trevon Diggs to return to practice. Let that sink in. Trevon Diggs, an all-pro corner, a foundational piece of the secondary, is taking meaningful steps toward returning to the field this season. Now, this does not guarantee Diggs plays against Detroit. Dallas won't rush him, and they shouldn't. But the simple fact that he is back on the field, helmet on, running, reading, moving, reacting, that is massive. That is the kind of reinforcement that turns a hot team into a terrifying one. Diggs' return window means he could realistically be available within the next couple of weeks, depending on how practice goes, and the ripple effect could be monumental. Dallas has played gritty, physical, underrated defense during their recent turnaround. They've compensated for injuries with pure hustle, scheme, and opportunistic playmaking. They've leaned heavily on role players, on rookies, on a rotation that has fought like its life depended on every snap. Add Trevon Diggs into that mix, even at 80%, and suddenly this defense looks different. Suddenly, opposing quarterbacks don't sleep as well on game week. Suddenly, coverage becomes tighter, blitz packages look cleaner, and turnovers become real possibilities again. The Cowboys aren't just adding a player, they are adding a force multiplier. But the front office wasn't done. Dallas also signed running back Israel Abanikanda, a raw, explosive athlete who once terrorized college defenses with pure speed and violent acceleration. If you don't know his name, you will soon, because this kid posted 1,431 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns at Pitt in 2022. That is not a fluke, that is domination. Abanikanda was a sprinter-level athlete, clocking a blazing sub-4.4 40-yard dash at his pro day. He was compared to Isaiah Pacheco by multiple draft analysts entering 2023, and not casually. The comparison was based on burst, top-end speed, and the ability to flip field position instantly. Now imagine that speed in this Dallas offense. Imagine that acceleration behind this offensive line. Abanikanda is not being asked to replace Javonte Williams or Malik Davis, both of whom have carved out meaningful roles and delivered in big moments. Instead, he becomes another weapon, another gear, another threat defenses must respect when Dallas lines up in the formation. The Cowboys didn't need a superstar, they needed a spark. And Israel Abanikanda has the traits to deliver one. And that tells you something important. The Cowboys are not folding. They're not hedging. They're not looking ahead to next season. They are still pushing, still fighting, still loading up for the stretch run. And this matters because despite everything, the heartbreaking losses, the injuries, the slow start, Dallas enters Week 14 with a 23% chance to make the postseason, according to The Athletic. That may seem small, but in the NFL, 23% is not hope. It is opportunity, it is probability, and it is especially meaningful when you combine it with the most important factor in football: momentum. Dallas has won 3 straight. They just beat the Philadelphia Eagles, last year's Super Bowl winners, and then turned around and took down the Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC champions. They did it in 4 days. They did it without Micah Parsons. They did it with precision, with violence, with confidence, with swagger. And now they're preparing for Detroit, a physical, bruising, resilient opponent that Vegas lists as a 3-point favorite at home. But make no mistake, this matchup is not one the Cowboys fear. It is one the Cowboys embrace. Detroit is coming off a 31-24 loss to Green Bay on Thanksgiving. They are battered, frustrated, and vulnerable. They have weaknesses in pass protection. They've been inconsistent in stopping the run. Their coverage has suffered injuries. And under the bright lights of Thursday Night Football, both teams will be stepping into identical circumstances. A short week, a primetime stage, and everything on the line. But only one of these teams is surging. Only one is rising. Only one feels like the arrow is pointing straight up. Dallas. This Thursday night is the kind of game that shapes playoff races, that shifts momentum across conferences, that exposes pretenders and elevates contenders. And Dallas is walking into Ford Field with a level of confidence that has been earned, not inherited. Dak Prescott is playing the best football of his career. CeeDee Lamb has reestablished himself as one of the most dominant receivers in the league. George Pickens has emerged as a late-game assassin, a clutch performer who thrives when the moment gets tense. Jake Ferguson continues to be the security blanket every great quarterback needs. And the running game, once seen as a weakness, is suddenly becoming a strength again. Dallas is not just fighting for wins right now. They are fighting for identity, relevance, and redemption. They are fighting for a season that looked lost but now looks reborn. Every game from here on becomes a playoff game. Every possession becomes a test. Every mistake becomes a lesson. And every victory becomes a message. And the message the Cowboys are sending is clear. We are not dead. We are not done. We are not falling apart. We are rising. We are building. We are hunting. This is a season where tragedy struck the locker room. This is a season where a franchise star was traded. This is a season where expectations collapsed only to reform into something stronger, sharper, more focused. But here they are, still standing, still fighting, still believing. Cowboy fans, this is the moment where narratives shift. This is the moment where doubt becomes fire. This is the moment where resilience becomes identity. And Thursday night, under the lights, with the whole world watching, the Dallas Cowboys have a chance to prove that everything we have seen these last few weeks has not been a fluke. It has been a warning. Now, I want to know what you think. Are the Cowboys about to turn this playoff race upside down? Can Trevon Diggs' return and the addition of Abanikanda elevate this team to a new level? And what is your prediction for Cowboys versus Lions on Thursday night? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button so YouTube pushes this to more Cowboy fans, and subscribe to Dallas Game Day so you never miss a breakdown, a reaction, or a moment from this wild, unforgettable season. The fight continues, the mission continues, and Dallas is still in it.